Let's see. All right, let's get to. Now we'll take a look at update.
Your chat man, you're Mr.
Actually, I like this.
Hi, friends. Well, as promised, we
Captain Steeve. If you guys don't know who he is, he's definitely a well-known captain, air pilot. He has his own channel, Captain Steeve. 689,000 supporters. This video got 3.7 million views in 3 days, but his videos garners a lot of views. He has a lot of expertise in the field, so he does give an update on the Air India crash. This is 3 days old. There's been more updates since, but I like his content, so we're gonna check this out, and then we're gonna get ready for the members only live, because I really want to check out a video in that and laugh and kind of, have some fun with you all with that one. So let's check this out and get some updates from Captain Steeve. Make sure you guys check him out and give his video a like. And he has some other great content, of course. So let's get to it.
We told you we would come back and give you updates on the Air India 171 incident, an accident, that tragedy over in India, when new information came out or we needed to update or refine something. And so we're going to update and refine in this third installment in what we've been talking about. And my inbox has been absolutely blowing up with pilots and everybody wanting me to discuss one certain item. And we'll get to that before the end of the video for sure. But let's do a review of what we know for certain happened in this tragic accident over in India. What we know for sure is this: that airplane achieved lift, right? At rotate. We saw it rotate off the ground and get airborne. And it seemed as though the engines were producing full or close to full thrust when it rotated, and the nose and the main mount wheels lifted off the ground. Shortly after that, within seconds, it appears that the wings lost lift. Now, we talked initially in the first video about things that could produce a loss of lift in the wings. One would be a dual engine failure. The other would be a reconfiguration of the wings. And that fell into two categories. The airplane took off with no flaps, which was just preposterous. It's virtually impossible to do that in these modern jets. And the other was an inadvertent mistake by one of the pilots where they might have prematurely raised the flaps. I'm glad to say at this point that has been put to bed. That did not happen. And a lot of people say, well, you were casting dispersions on those pilots or their training or their background. Not at all. I have the greatest and utmost respect for all of my foreign pilot friends. These guys are absolutely geniuses. They are terrific at what they do. They got great training, sometimes better than the training I get, and they do everything they do in a second language. The international language of aviation is English. That's my first tongue. That's their second tongue. They do all of that in a separate language. My hat is off to them. They do an incredible job. So don't go down the road if I was casting dispersion on those two pilots. Those guys were.
And here's the thing. I mean, when it comes to these air crash, because I do watch a lot of air disasters. And I told you guys another channel that I check out a lot is Disaster Breakdowns, where that content creator goes over the mechanics and the science of, the plane, how it takes off, what's supposed to happen with the flaps and the wings, and how the air flows over it and under the wing to give lift, and what drag is. I mean, down to like the, equations that's used in physics to help calculate, what the speed and, the power thrust, all of those things should be in order for the plane to operate correctly. So, I mean, great breakdowns. And of course, Captain Steeve, of course, is a captain in this industry. And one thing they do factor in when they're doing these investigations, along with looking at the black boxes, the CVR, and that's the cockpit voice recorder. They also have to look at, some of the human behaviors of the pilot and the co-pilot. So it's just a part of the investigation. It's not to say that the pilot and the co-pilot aren't competent and cannot do their job, but it's just a standard part of the investigation overall. It doesn't matter where the plane crashed, what country they're from, what plane it was. It's just a standard part of the investigation. So that's what that's what he's saying and reiterating here. So, but he's well respected. I mean, he gets millions of views every video. So
earned where they were, and they did a valiant job of trying to save that airplane. They were really the heroes, and I wish it had turned out better, right? Because hats off to both of those pilots. Now, so that one has been put to bed. Now, last video, we got into some things that are the hard and fast that we know. What do we know so far for certain about this accident? We know that the rat deployed. What's the rat? That's the ram air turbine. That is a little mechanism that, in a case of extreme emergency, will drop down out of the bottom, the fuselage of the airplane. It's towards the right back on a 787, right at the back of the wings where the kind of the flaps come out, but it's in the fuselage. It's there as a last resort to provide some electricity and enough hydraulic pressure to fly the airplane. It's really designed to deploy in case there's a dual engine failure at altitude. So let's say you're at 35,000 feet and both engines flame out for some reason, and you can still glide someplace, but you've lost all electric and all hydraulic, and maybe your APU is not working to give you electric. You can that rat will automatically deploy. You can push a button to deploy it, but it will deploy automatically. It's wired to do that. It'll drop out. It'll bang real hard when it comes out, and it'll take over some electric in the airplane and enough hydraulic to get that airplane to fly. It was not designed to provide any sort of help at 400 feet for an engine for wings that are losing lift due to either a loss of thrust or some other potential reason. So these guys were doomed when it happened. The rat came out, and we've got hard evidence of that. We showed you a video last time with a picture of the rat actually out deployed underneath the airplane. We also showed you or listened to the audio as the airplane flew by the open window of the guy who was filming. You can hear that high-pitched propeller sound going by. That's a distinct sound of a rat. The third is the eyewitness testimony of the one lone survivor. Unbelievable, 1,000,000 to 1 that guy survived. The one lone survivor that walked away from the crash and said he had heard a loud bang and the lights flicker. Now that makes more sense if we connect it to the rat, right? And then the final one was the captain making the Mayday call, and he says something to the effect of thrust was not achieved. So he's telling us he doesn't have enough power to continue to fly. That would be indicative of either a single or a dual engine failure. So having said that, that's the hard evidence that we know so far and the fact to back it up. Now, what would cause potentially one engine or two engines to fail? Well, those big turbine engines out there basically are pretty simple operators. Once they get started and they get turning, they need air and they need fuel, and they need a constant flow of liquid fuel. Hold on to that word for a minute. Liquid, it's important. Liquid fuel, and they need an even steady flow of air. So now, one of the potential ways for an engine or engines to fail, and again, remember, as we're discussing this, everything we're talking about falls into that category of 100 billion to 1, because we're talking about both engines. If one engine had done any of the things that we've discussed so far, it might not even make the news. We might not even be talking about it, because a 787 can fly just fine on a single engine at all gross weights in all temperature conditions, even with the gear down. Right. And that's the other thing that we know from the video we've watched. The gear remained down the entire flight. Now, I did an interview yesterday with a guy named Gary, and Gary's a pilot. He's a really good guy. He's got a great YouTube channel. Gary B. Pilot is his YouTube channel. You can go check out that interview there. Throw some love Gary's way, because he took me to task on a couple of things, and we had a nice, frank, hangar flying type conversation where we challenged each other on a couple of things. I love that. I love this forum, because hangar flying now for us has moved from sitting around a table inside a dingy, dark building called a hangar, and it's now on social media. It's on YouTube. It's on channels like this, and the other aviators that have their own channels talking about this. I think it's a necessary thing that we talk about, and we throw out their possibilities. Some of those possibilities will be big P possibilities, and some will be small P possibilities. You be the judge on what I'm going to talk about next, whether it's a big P or a small P, or you want to throw it out altogether. That's up to you. But
Captain Steve, I'm not a pilot. He's asking us to do the impossible. We're not pilots, but I get what he's saying. Let me see if you can scroll forward. And I just wanted to touch on some of this. It's not a long video, but I think the most important thing, was that the plane, as soon as it got in the air, it just didn't get the lift. That's pretty much what it came down to. And can we thank God for that sole survivor? I mean, God was really looking out for this man. There's a reason why he wanted him to live. That's as much of a freak accident of the story of the lone survivor, the lady. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna check that out. The plane crash in the Amazon, where you had a lone survivor, young girl. And this is like what, 20, 30, 40 years ago. And was able to finally get to safety and everything. I don't think she was young, but she was, old enough to be able to kind of spin away, figure out basic things about direction and location in the Amazon. And just a freak accident. It's like, God spared this man for a reason. I want to check this video out right quick, because this is a shorter one. And then Members only.
Why has Air India 171's crash theory just changed? RAT footage sparks new questions. It was supposed to be a routine flight, Air India 171, a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, taking off from Ahmedabad to London.
That's
But just
scary. You're
moments
supposed
after
to go to
takeoff
London.
at 625 feet in the air, the plane issued a mayday call. Thrust not achieved. Seconds later, it disappeared from radar. A breakthrough at the crash site last week, the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, AAIB, recovered the flight data recorder found lodged on a rooftop near the crash site. Now, officials have confirmed the second black box, the cockpit voice recorder, has also been recovered. These devices, built by Honeywell and Curtiss Wright, are designed to survive the worst: impact, fire, even ocean pressure. Inside them, the final 30 seconds of truth.
There you
Every
go,
word
Saint.
spoken, every warning light, every alarm triggered, every switch that was moved. Then came the video, and a game changer. That's when aviation expert Captain Steeeve stepped in. Using enhanced original footage, not the grainy video circulated on social media, he spotted something which was very shocking: a small grey blur beneath the aircraft's belly. It wasn't debris, it was the RAT, the Ram Air Turbine, a tiny emergency propeller that only deploys when a plane loses all hydraulic and electrical power, typically during a dual engine failure. This is not theory anymore. It's visual evidence. Captain Steeeve says the RAT looks like a little Evinrude motor, a two.
That's who we was just checking out, Captain Stevie. Told y'all he's a captain in this industry. This is AIM TV, YouTuber. That's oh wow, he's got 166,000 subs. You guys make sure you check out these great content creators here. They're discovering this story. I just gave him a like on the video.
Two-blade prop spinning at near supersonic speeds. It only comes out if something has gone terribly wrong. 4 clues that point to engine failure, visual confirmation. The RAT door is open and the turbine deployed. Audio evidence, a distinctive RAT whirring, like a prop plane. It clearly heard in the original footage. Survivor's account. He heard a loud bang and saw the cabin lights flicker before the crash, making RAT activation patterns. The mayday call. The pilot reported thrust not achieved seconds before impact. Captain Steeeve now believes this was not flaps, not gear, not fuel contamination. This was catastrophic engine failure. So what happens now? Experts say decoding both black boxes could take around 20 days, factoring in Boeing's analysis and coordination with global aviation bodies. But here's the worry. Some experts fear corporate interference may cloud the findings, and that the real cause may never be publicly disclosed. The data will be sent to Boeing for initial diagnostics, but the global aviation community is watching very closely because the RAT changes everything. Was this preventable? That's the real question. Today, airlines can equip fleets with predictive maintenance tools like Honeywell Forge or Rolls-Royce's Blue Data Thread, AI systems that detect microscopic anomalies long before they lead to disaster. They can stream cockpit data in real time using systems like Inmarsat's Swift broadband safety. So no aircraft ever goes off-grid again. So why wasn't it done? Because aviation safety isn't just about technology. It's about budgets, policy, accountability, and most importantly, global cooperation. Make sure to check our previous video, which we covered in detail here on Front Page. Flight.
There you go. Listen, that is something else, y'all. That's something else. That's the update on that. Oh man. So it's gonna take a good 20 days to get the data analysis from the black boxes. We'll be tuning into that. Lone survivor on this. I think that's what to me makes this so much more unique is that against all odds, someone survived and walked out the plane. Like God just said, "There you go, just walk on out. You're good." Like he's able to talk and everything, and able to give an account. And what's so crazy about this is, oh man, the airline, they're already trying to say that oh, there's nothing wrong with the plane, this, that, and the third. Okay. Why go through all of that knowing people can sue you? You rather just fix the problem up front than to catch all these lawsuits on the back end. So either way, they end up spending all the money, plus some if they get sued, which they will be, especially if the cause was preventable. All right, that's all we got, y'all. We're going into almost an hour. I'm sorry that the you know, true crime is hard to swallow. Skeeter, it might be hard to get your video in. Skeeter sent one with the kid, baby, 3 or 4 year old baby being thrown over a bridge. I mean, that's hard. That is hard. So it might be difficult to go over that. It was a 2 year old. Dad threw 2 year old son into river to die. And this is recent. This happened this week. So it's gonna be a little difficult with that, but y'all let me know what ideas you guys want to check out. I guess for true crime sector, um, it is hard, but we have our members on live stream coming up, and I'm excited about that. First time I'm going to be doing it through StreamYard, so y'all bear with me. Might just go ahead and start it after this. Everybody get like 10-15 minute break. Thank you all for tuning in, though. I appreciate it. I know it's difficult. Um, and another baby died in a vehicle. Oh my God. Yeah, this is part of reality, though. It's hard to. I know we don't like hearing these types of things happening, but it's hard to ignore. It really is, because my heart goes out to these kids. It's not. I don't take delight in hearing this stuff at all. Really don't. Yep. So you guys make sure you go out, get you some snacks, something to drink, and then come on back for our members only live so I can chill out with you all. They should put sensors in cars for that. You would think, right? I think they need to have sensors on, I don't know, something that can be a little bit more upgraded to these car seats. I've always said that. I used to cushion my boys when they were babies, cushion them on each side of their head with some sort of rolled up blanket, so they wouldn't have so much, or some sort of cushion between the space in the car seats, because my kids were little tiny little things. And I would put something to kind of cushion them. They would have extra harnesses and everything on them. I was I was overly cautious with my kids. And I sat in the back next to them in the car seat until they hit about 8-9 months, and they were able to convert around. But as long as they had to sit rear facing, I was sitting in the back with them. No, I ain't play that. My babies. But thank you all for tuning in. Let's go ahead and get ready for this members only live, because I want to check out a funny video there. And I will see you all in a few minutes. It's 10:10. I see you all in 20. Hit the like button. And if you have not become a member, become a member. We're going to have some fun. All right. To the next one. Lady Luck Club out. Deuces.